All right, now the iron is sharp enough to shave the hair off my arm easily. One thing that happens is when it gets clogged up, and the iron won't if you get little shavings under the iron, it doesn't work. And because this is low bevel, in a normal bevel regular bench plane, this isn't a problem. But in this plane, it just gets shavings all in there, and getting them out is kind of a pain. I mean, I suppose I should be using a brush or something, or compressed air, but I haven't used the air compressor, so I mean not today. So it's not doesn't have a charging. And then setting the iron, and I'm careful as I'm putting the iron in not to ding up the edge. You certainly have to have a system that sharpens your iron consistently square, which the burn system does. I just kind of like to feel it, the protrusion. A lot of people sight along, use light, but personally, I think this gap for the throat interferes with the light sighting technique anyway. And as you clamp down on the iron, it might go a little bit out of square, or it might kind of change the depth setting a little bit. So we'll see. This is sharp, but we'll see if it's going to behave. Or we'll see if it's going to cut well at this depth. Now you're probably wondering why I'm having such a hard time with that. Again, this is designed for older, thinner castings, so it's not really ideal for a modern thick casting like a Nielsen. All right, I kind of forgot where my edge was with all my blathering, and it's still, the level's still teeter-tottering here. It looks to me like there's a bulge out here, so let me see if I can put that. Honestly, I'm starting to have a lot more fun with this plane. This job, I've put in a lot of miserable hours figuring it out. Figuring out what the plane really needed to perform well. As James Krenov says, planes are high-spirited tools. High-spirited, like a high-spirited horse. And James Krenov is somebody you should read if you're interested in fine woodworking, definitely, because he's pretty cool. Or he was. I mean, he died just a few years back. So it's looking promising. Which is good, because this job has to get done, and I've spent a lot of time screwing around with these edges. Set up to do this kind of stuff on the bench. Another thing you can use is something called, I think, a bench slave, which is something that hand tool woodworkers use. I mean, I love working with hand tools. Sometimes it's the right tool for the job, but like a lot of guys, I work with machines a lot, and I use machines often. Machines are like probably machines are a specialty of mine too. I try to be good at both. Try to be good at both hand tools and machine work. All right, now it's low over here on this side. Okay, so there's a little bit of a, there's a thing like that right here somewhere. So I'm gonna have to get rid of that. Gotta check it, because if I get the edge out of square, it's really a drag to get it back. Even with the fence, it's no fun. Now I'm trying to plane the edge slightly hollow. That's called a sprung joint. It's still square. I'm either getting pretty skilled with this now at this point, or I'm just getting lucky. It's still teeter-tottering. I mean, just slightly. I mean, there's a gap of, you know, a little less than a 16th of an inch at this one end, you know. I don't know. I mean, I could close it with clamps, definitely, but with boards this thick, you know, closing with clamps, that's quite a lot of pressure. I mean, I have the clamps. It's just like, you know, it's not really best practices. Best practices is perfection. Which is, incidentally, what a big old, you know, aircraft carrier-sized joiner would do. Which actually I have one, but it's like, you know, because I collect vintage machinery, but the jointer is mothballed because I don't have space to set it up. Get a bigger shop for all my crazy machines. This is looking promising. I still think that there's kind of like high point right there. These boards are heavy. This is like, you know, kind of kind of like, you know, physical work, you know. But actually, one reason I decided to do it by hand is because I'm getting over like kind of a shoulder upper back injury, and I worked it a lot, and that seems to be helping me get over it. So I thought doing this job by hand might help that a little bit, and it seems to be. I mean, it's getting way better. I mean, considering how maddening this injury has been, man, it's occupying a lot less of my mental real estate today than it has been. Already, I can feel this iron getting dull. Okay, that's how often you have to sharpen it. Yeah, well, there's a slight gap here at the end, but I think this is going to be acceptable. I really do. So if I put a clamp on this one end, maybe I can see like what's going to happen with the other end. Yeah, and there's, you know, yeah, it looks like, yeah, this is good. This is good. This is going to work. You know. Hey, I hope I make it look easy. It's not, and as I mentioned, that iron is already losing it. So take the superiority claims with a grain. I mean, it's good playing. I'm just saying that you got to sharpen the iron a lot. So, you know, you might as well just get your sharpening skills dialed in. I like the low center of gravity of the plane. I like that. There's not all this equipment sticking up like that, especially for like holding on the side. That's kind of a bonus. I think that's cool. So, is the plane worth the money, or whatever? I don't know. I mean, joining boards by hands is still a skill. You know, it may be a skill you want to learn. It may not be a skill you really want to learn. So, if you're not really committed to like kind of like the attention to detail that you see me doing here and the physicality, and maybe joining by hand isn't for you. But on the other hand, if you're willing to go for it, I think maybe you could learn to get pretty efficient with it. I've certainly gotten a lot more efficient with it in the process of working this one project. So I give the plane a thumbs up. It's good. It's got a couple minor annoyances.